Only a few weeks to go in this championship, and it's getting quite tight. Just like this track, it's Circuit Zolder. Welcome to the 10th week of the Super Skippy Sunday schedule, as I almost couldn't even say Sunday right. So we go to Circuit Zolder, not quite the home of the Belgian Grand Prix, but maybe Belgium's next biggest track. This is a tight and tricky course. We call it Chicane City for a reason. You're going to have to time your moves carefully to get past people here or incur the wrath of being sent airborne, as the drivers have mostly been spending the last week finding new and inventive ways to practice between themselves. I respect the grift, but we've got a race to get on with now. Well, it's getting tight here in this championship, and it's getting remarkably exciting. Howie Burroughs as ever, and we have a single split here today. I kind of thought this track would be a little more popular, to be honest, but we have what we have, and we have to sit in it now. 20 drivers, we're about to 3.4k SOF. I only just found out 5 minutes before the stream that this is the first championship week with drop week supply. We're going to have 4 by the end of the season, but we'll be adding 1 at a time as the season goes on. I believe this is right as it stands. Cross-reference looks right. Tim Hendrickson with a heavy lead now. You'll be able to make up some points for the rounds you lost as you go on, but he has become an absolute force, and he's here to finish this crown. Adam Miles is fast, though. Often the fastest, and he's only behind for a lack of participation, so if this goes down to the wire, then so be it. Now, this is not a paid spot as I had. I'm sure I have to give a lovely good old thanks to someone anyway. You know, I'm feeling generous. Good old thanks to Whiplash Sim Cams for this week. I've only started working with him recently, but I'm just here to tell you that the default cameras for this track are absolutely, incompetent. Incompetent's the wrong word. They have not been properly updated for the new track layout, and there are several key parts that are blocked, and I needed a hero to deliver me new track cameras in a week, and he did the job. So go check them out on social media, and you too, if you do broadcasting for your own, if there's any of you out there, can take advantage. I paid just like everyone else, though. I mean, I'm not here to tell you I'm getting more on the side, but I thought the sort of hero we need that can get us to actually see things around Zolder deserves a shout out. Qualifying should be underway right now. Drivers haven't really finished their first lap. We have a lot going around the field trying to work out who is most likely to finish their first lap. Probably going to be the free car here. That was a mistake. Tim Hendrickson, please. Come to me. I think Tim Hendrickson will be the first driver to actually set a qualifying lap if my track map is correct. And we'll head on board for a second as well, because this is a tricky track. I suffer in it all the time. I actually do quite well here in the TCRs. In the TCRs, I'm really good here. They call it the home of DTM. They don't do that for nothing. IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge was a farm, let me tell you that. 2 hours of Worthy Farm. First times are getting on the board right now as I speak, but we'll just run through here. It's got quite a few sweepers. I gotta say, there aren't many spots to pass, unless you're stupid. You sometimes can be stupid, so I'll give you that. But we're about to run into Chicane Alley over here. Tim Hendrickson with the fastest lap on the board so far is 1:45. How many Vs does this engine have? Can I call it a roar? Big slowdowns for going over those green sections of all 4 wheels, by the way. You're forced too wide into this corner, then you could suffer. But well handled there by Tim Hendrickson, trying to keep the fastest lap on the board. Something about my updated graphics ain't quite working. Could have done the alternate layout where we fly through these sweeps at the very, very end, but instead we're just going to take a small little detour through a final set of chicanes. It is a tight and a furious track. Tim Hendrickson looking to set predicted. It's only going to be a little bit faster, but it'll be enough to maintain pole. But now, they say. Who haven't we looked at? Here's Tero Hitanen. Put the car on the track. You see, that's what we call the commentator's curse. Daniel Atoke with the fastest lap, 1:45.0. No one's quite been able to get a 44, not even Adam Miles, who's sitting in P3. Quite a few drivers here who wouldn't usually make the split. Here's a pretty high I-rating driver that we've not seen around. Heron Wellink setting the P10 time. Nathan Verney, we've seen him before. Jene Zorek moves into 5th. Verney doesn't have a time, and this one isn't going to be very fast, I'm afraid. Might put him just about escaping the bottom, maybe not even with that slow exit out of that chicane. That is 17th right now, David Blackburn, the last driver on the grid who hasn't that time. If you haven't set it at all, I'm sure I'll look around to see if we have anything. Black flag from Adam Miles. Could be one of the million slowdowns. Is Heron Wellink again? I might be, people seem to go missing every week, so I didn't realise there were drop weeks until this week, of course. So, and there are a few old Git cars I don't see, but maybe they're just trying to miss the fun. Can't help them. One more lap across the line, I believe. Actually, Heron Welling, I think, has set all 3 laps. We're just looking at car going around because he's going to keep us hostage till the end of this qualifying period. Those giant sausage curves. The TCR likes them. The Skippy doesn't blow up on them. I've driven GT cars around it. They don't like it. I've been sent airborne by those things. I don't think that's going to count as a legal time. He's just going to keep running until our time is up, though, I think. And why not? This track can be fun. I'm curious to see how the racing is going to go. It's not going to be drafty. It's not going to be unique is the word I would have to use. I mean, like, it's going to be very much unlike anything else I've kind of watched on this series. We had procession weeks. We also had exciting weeks we don't expect them. Most we can do now is just sit down and take a look at our starting grid for 13 laps of Zolder. Daniel Toga gets the pole time just in front of Tim Hendrickson. That is the tiniest of gaps in the world. Let me tell you, that could have gone either way. Adam Miles sits P3 with Sam Devantier in 4th. Jene Zorek in 5th with Vasco Savoski in 6th. Ryan Shinaweth sits quite further back than usual in 7th next to Tero Hitanen. Peter Sapunki and Chris Wayne at least make 2 old get side by side. Heron Welling and Neil Gardner on the 6th row. More than a second and a half behind for Neil. Brendan McDonough in 13th with Michael McCabe in 14th. On Payne sits 15th with Bruno Howie. Is French, I do my best, in 16th. Nathan Verney, Jason Willman, David Elliott and Brian Blackburn make up the rear of this grid. As the drivers get ready to grid in, this start could really go any way. I mean, I don't love drama, but this is the sort of track that would produce it if we had it. So, you know, I'm nothing but cautious, I'll just say. Nothing but cautious. Almost all drivers on the grid. Who's going to be sent airborne today? We're going to find out as we go green any second now. It's going to be quite a slow green here. And there we go. Even launched by the front 2 rows there. Daniel Atoga getting in quite well. I see there Neil Gardner doing some movement behind as they're almost 2 wide to the first turn. Adam Miles has to back down already a little bit to prevent his nose from getting chopped off in the maelstrom. A very, very wide track for these cars as we fly through these first few corners. Tim right on Toga's rear, and we are too wide for several rows back. Be careful about understeering out of this corner. Chris Wayne also gaining a position or two. Easy to take some gravel on the exit, but it hasn't slowed down the Toga too much. This could be a dive bomb at City into this first chicane. Toga's placed his car quite well though, and Tim Hendrickson hasn't taken the bait on the first lap at the very least. And they are certainly running a little bit away on this start. Usually Adam Miles would be right on him, but he's really biding his time right now. And this top two are making their chase out of here. Been pretty single file though. We've been through lap one peacefully. Only 13 to go, lads. Let's prove we can do it together. All right? Hand in hand. And there is an incident in the back, though. I do see wrecking. It's Tom Payne. He's gone backwards alongside David Elliott. See if I can catch a replay of that one. Is Tom Payne in the John Player special car? 30 seconds back. That might have been a mistake. Oh, maybe. Oh, it's a little bit of grass caught. It's just a little bit of grass caught on the inside, and one unlucky victim. I can almost see a bent and dented car out on the other side. The race continues up front. Not much movement. But a lot of drivers keeping their wits about them. They don't make your moves until the end of the sprint race this quick. I like the visual update iRacing did to this track. And the FF1600 series on this channel goes back to this track soon. It's not this week. In a couple weeks. So if you like or don't like what you see, you've got to prepare for more of it on the other side. As there's more incidents behind. Oh, there's a big wreck back there. Quite a few drivers collected. I'm going to need to get some good views of all of them there. It involves Peter Sapunki with the cameras on right now. We were promised death and I think we got it. I don't know if this is the main cause of it. Side by side and cars have gone airborne. And there's just been a few collected victims in the way. I'll try and catch who is sent into the pits by that. You know what? Maybe the promises weren't incorrect on our events. David Elliott got a meatball from that. Jason Willman got a meatball. Michael A. Makabe, maybe it is, and Peter Sapunki hit the air and back into the ground. Lots of toes to the pits. As we resume our regularly scheduled programming, and it's a good run away for 1 and 2. Daniel Toga setting our first fastest lap of the day. It's a 46.0. They can always get faster, and you know it. You know one thing about this series, every week they can go faster. But where are you going to make your move on a track like this? Because we've already seen one pretty sad mistake go into one of the chicanes. I think the best spot to make your move, I'll point it out when we get it, but it's a harsh right-hander right before the final back straight chicane. You don't really get any chance to draft in these cars for long enough to take advantage. But if you can position your car on the inside, I'll point it out when we get there. I don't know my corner names terribly well. Although for those who... No, I don't have numbers either, apparently. I thought I was maybe onto something. This top three staying quite close. Adam Miles has stayed on the back of this pack. He's won almost every week he's shown up to. I'm surprised with a result sheet like Daniel Toga's that he's not fighting higher in this championship. 135 points is miles behind the top. But when he's fast on a week, he is very, very fast. When he's practiced well, he can join. I missed the corner. It was the one leading into this straight. It was that big right angle. All right. Sure, you all understand. You're all the experts out here. Seems here might have been one of the worst weeks of my life. Neil Gardner makes a pass up on Brendan McDonough and now has 5 seconds to make up further up the field. Wait, some time to go. Top 3 are really going to sit around and bide their time for a while, I think. Although Sam Devante is not out of this, Ryan Chenoweth's going to need to go quite a bit faster in exchange. You actually don't get an off track for that little bit of gravel. Brendan McDonough falls back. Doesn't look like a big wreck. They're side by side. And Tim will use the slip. And in fact, Adam Miles is going to go right for it. A poor entry into the chicane. And all the drivers make it through alive this time. Adam Miles might just get away with it on top. Another tight one. I always find that chicane to be the toughest passing one on the track out of all of them. I've pulled off some crazy dive bombs elsewhere, not quite that one. Adam Miles, though, he slips on by, and he's got more positions to make up now. More than a second by Tim Hendrickson has been cleared. I would go for a move there if you could, but the TCR League I used to broadcast back in the day, I loved that corner, but I can see that drivers are covering the inside a lot better than they used to. 7 side by side with the 10 back there. Vasco can't quite get past Zerne Zorek. With the 1, 2, 3, 4, Ryan Chenoweth's now back in this if the field can work together. Catch that leader. Good to see some nice clean overtaking up at the front, but things can explode here at any time. Very easy to catch just that little bit of gravel. I don't get incident counts, but I bet the number probably has scaled up quite a bit. One, two, three. Oh, led by Miles right now is really going to be an important factor here. Hendrickson just wants to get in as many good laps as he can. He knows it isn't really a slingshot track. There aren't many laps. This race feels shorter than the others for some reason. Maybe time flies. Whether or not you're having fun. Jason Willman's making up places over behind. Quite a bit off the field though. Peter Sapunki is very much racing on his own. Big battle back here. This is between Brian Blackburn up ahead. Jaron Wellick as well. Blackburn gets that place, almost going 3 wide down that straight, further up ahead. Not quite tussling and dueling right now. How much grass can you guys kick up? Your stuff gets back on the track, it makes other people slip, send people airborne. It's inconsiderate. No gravel, but, you know. Almost halfway through. It'll be halfway after another lap. And I see a toga starting to, whenever a car starts to sort of point their nose out somewhere else on the straight, you can tell they are looking to make that move. You can feel the impatience from someone. Eventually, once it starts boiling and they realise they need to make their move, we're not even halfway. Not even necessarily a guarantee he has to make his move right yet, but he wants it. Art alongside Sam Devante would much like just to take advantage, I think. Hendrickson's brought that gap out. Another 2 tenths. Sam Devante side by side now. Not alongside, though. Vasco Savoski does actually make it there past Zerne Zorek. Still battling here with Heron Wellink. Brian Blackburn. They really are having the chase of their life. How has Helen Welling got so much screen time? Very, very wide there onto the gravel. Now behind, Nathan Verney wants a part in as well, swinging around, hoping to try and get a nice dive into one of the angles. Brendan McDonough would take advantage of a mistake here as well, but it hasn't quite happened. Nathan Verney is going to move up alongside Blackburn. It's hard to get a run, though, isn't it? It's hard to get clear on this track. And it's not quite delivering quite yet. But this is where the other battle seems to keep blowing up just a little bit. So I'm keeping my eyes on them. I'm keeping my eyes peeled on everything I see. My eyes are always open. Tim Hendrickson sets the next fastest lap. We're into 44 territory now at this point. Over up front is staying about where we are. But now, they say. Vasco Zavosky is over a second off, but Zerne Zorg's about as close to him. So much dust. Don't get in my eyes. These drivers are biding their time. 7 to go. That makes the halfway mark actually complete now and not a false alarm. We like to do those sometimes. Zerne this time gets the run on exit. And this time makes it past Vasco. But these two have been fighting each other. Not really sure working with others can make up much for you here. I could be proven wrong. There's an incident back here with Brian Blackburn and Nathan Verney. I'm going to confuse with Brendan. Everyone begins with Bree and ends with N. Where's this one happened? This is Brian Blackburn's car. Oh! Verney's going to get tagged from behind. And Blackburn's really just the victim in that. There's more meatball flags there out for Nathan Verney and Brian Blackburn. Jason Willman just about gets away with it. 6 to go. It wasn't chicane death that time. It wasn't quite chicane induced. Fastest lap again. It's Adam Miles. But dare I say, Adam might be inevitable in the Skip Barber races. He would love to add another gold trophy to the pile of gold trophies. Tim Hendrickson has the most wins, though, in this championship so far. A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to my count versus the 2. We could have a real chase on our hands if he keeps pulling out laps that are this consistently fast. Brendan McDonough fighting Tom Payne a bit further behind. Gotta keep my eye on things all over this grid that might be happening because there are some real chases and battles, even if they aren't quite for the win and aren't quite for the championship. Six to go, and we've split out a bit. This will be the scoring in the championship with the second drop week applied, so numbers might not add up based on what you saw earlier, but I'm confident it's right. And if that's a win, Tim Hendrickson's lead starts to look inassailable. Only the 2 DNFs for the 2 drop weeks means a near-perfect slate. He had a slip-up at Watkins Glen, but Watkins Glen was really his only poor week. Interested in seeing how that develops. Adam Miles with the 144.1. That's a lapped car on the inside. That's the 14 car of Michael McCarby right in the middle of this action. He's out of the way. And so the action may continue. Dust being kicked up everywhere. And really, this hasn't been a very slipstream run track. We've shown that passing is possible, and Tim Hendrickson is tantalisingly within range now. Remember when he was out of striking distance? Adam Miles has ensured we get anything but. He wants a grandstand finish, and he wants to prove he can score. No one's become foul of the slowdown penalties there, but it's incredibly strict going over the green with all 4 wheels. Drivers are absolutely on the edge of it. Daniel Toga's not out of at least getting that P2 though, and playing spoiler and slowing Adam down. The whole pack's really worked and closed up the gap. Ryan Shinawest's made it onto the back of the train. Neil Gardner, unfortunately, hasn't gone far. Sits in P10. In a bit of an island of his own. It's 4 to go. And next week on this series, on this channel, same time as ever, we're going to be heading to Motorsport Arena Oschersleben. I believe the alt layout with the first corner designed by the man that should have been put in a dark room and beat about the head, according to some old TCR commentators back in the day. If you guys can behave, I won't repeat that message. That's all I'll say. But it's a great track. It's a challenging track. I love it in junior Formula cars. When I say I love a track, it often goes wrong. But same time on the channel as ever. This championship's going to heat up all the way to its conclusion. We have a proper dogfight for the lead now. 4 cars in it. And the gap is non-existent. This is a race to the line. Got a few laps of driving to go. But I'm feeling excited about this one. You're going to have to wait to make your move. Wait. And hopefully not get caught back and not cause an incident. Track's a small one, and we've seen quite a few lap cars come up. This is a... Let me try and guess from the car. I've seen enough drivers at this point. That could be Taro Hitanen's car. No, it can't be. That's Peter's... Jason Willman's car. I have car images on the side of my screen. I knew that Sapanki was in the Gitz car. Here comes Adam Miles on the inside, going into turn 1. He's really claimed that space for himself, even hopping over the curbs a little bit. Tiny bit of contact. All's fair. Toga wants to take advantage and send it free wide. He's the one that loses out from that, though. Tim Hendrickson stays position, but he has to be scared now. It's a Toga who has advantage pre-chicane. Toga's really sort of played spoiler to this chance, but is Adam going to go for something crazy? Not quite. Any cars going airborne? Not quite. That was scary, but it was also respectful. Drivers are only going to have a few more chances to do it, and I have the feeling like their patience is going to run out very, very soon. I think this track will explode in fireworks after a slow race middle. And Miles makes the move to the inside. I told you I like that passing spot. It's finally gone for it. Going to be side by side. He's not gaining. He is not gaining, and I'm seeing Tim Hendrickson keep it. A little bit of an outbreak into that next chicane. 2 to go. Could be anyone's. Is Vasco Zavosky is battling with actually Taro Hitanen's car, not just a doppelganger, and Chris Wayne behind. We're doing it again. Adam Miles on the inside. This time he's clear. This time there's contact. Just has to be saved and held by Tim Hendrickson, who maintains the inside into these sweepers. I've seen Daniel Toga on more time than once unsettle others in final lap duels. You would never dare send it free. That's what he's going to do. Free wide into the chicane. Looks like Tim's losing out in terms of pace, but they're all going to send it together, and that was only going to end one way. with a shock turnaround there. There's damage on both of those cars. It's not lethal, but Sam Devante and Ryan Chenoweth now take over the re-race lead. There will be talks about that one afterwards. I saw no way that was going to end well. It looks like Tim Hendrickson's actually gotten away with this one with the least damage. If he pulls out a flyer, he can steal a P2. No one's totaled. We approach the white flag. And Sam Devante leads. Who could have seen that one coming? We're not done yet, but with a significant gap between these top two cars, Ryan's going to have to send a crazy move to rescue this race. They stay single file for now. Only a few more chances for Ryan to make a big move. There's a small draft down this straight for him. Ryan Chenoweth has never won a round in this series this season. He's had so many seconds, so many thirds, but neither has Sam. They'd both be chasing a first win on Sunday. Who knew this was how they were going to do it? I'm not sure Tim Hendrickson's ready to make a move. I don't think the pace is in the tank. Ryan heads inside. Both stay on the track. One more chicane to go. It looks like Sam Devante is going to have the outbreak. He's going to throw his car in front. Tim Hendrickson's almost there to take advantage. It's not going to happen, and in fact, Sam Devante is going to claim his first win on the Skip Barber Sundays. Adam Miles sets the fastest lap just to prove he could have. What he could have. And you know I'm going to get you a replay of whatever that incident was between the top three. I was very worried about a three wide move. I really was. I just saw it and I thought this is not going to be particularly fun. See if I can get my nice sweeping camera. This is what we pay for. All right. I mean, cars get sent airborne frequently. It's a pretty harsh turn in there by Daniel Atoga. And his clearing's going to clip the wheel of the three. And really, Adam is accidentally collected. Good on them for keeping it going after the fact. But that was pretty terrifying. It was always going to be a very, very suspect move, in my opinion, at the very least. That's all I'm going to say for that. And that brings us some extraordinary race results. Let's take a look at them. And all calm down just a little bit. Or I can calm down. Some of the drivers at home, they might not be calming down. Sam Devante takes his first win of the season. But Ryan Chenoweth got close, taking advantage of that incident ahead. Tim Hendrickson finishes third ahead of Adam Miles, Daniel Atoga in fifth, Jerne Zorek in sixth with Terry Tannen in seventh. Chris Wayne takes up eighth with Vasco Zawowski and Neil Gardner. There were some good battles among those three as well. Gerson Wellink takes in 11th with Brendan McDonough in 12th, Tom Payne in 13th with Bruno Pui, Howie. I don't know how to sound good with that one, I'm sorry. In 14th, Peter Safanki 15th with Jason Willman. In 16th was had David Elliott, Michael McCarbe, Nathan Verney, and Brian Blackburn. I believe this is correct with the 2 drop weeks, but, you know, I'm going to consult my crystal ball afterwards and see what happens, all right? Tim Hendrickson is going to keep the lead, and it's still a substantial one. Ryan Chenoweth's going to enjoy those points, but it's going to need a few miracle weeks to climb up. Adam Miles, with the drop weeks flying in, is now flying, though, in range with that sort of pace. Well, that sure was a race. One of the races, in fact, of all time. And I hope you can be here next week to catch some more, because it only starts to heat up as time goes on around here. It only starts to heat up on the grid. But until then, I've been Howie Burroughs, wishing you a great week ahead.